We're going to be talking about 7 money habits that could ruin your marriage. Coming up.
You don't want to miss it.
Hey, I'm Talent.
Hey, I'm Ty, and we're from hisandhermoney.com, where we teach you how to have better money,
Become a better couple,
and live a better life.
This video is being brought to you by Legal and General America. Everyone knows why life insurance is important, but many of us choose to ignore the reality of what would happen if we were to die suddenly without proper protection. The results could be devastating for your surviving family members, leaving them with a large bill for your final expenses, or even worse, loss of the family home because they can no longer cover the mortgage.
Term life insurance gives you peace of mind at a price you can afford. Term life insurance allows you to meet your financial obligations today while still protecting your family's future tomorrow.
If you don't currently have a life insurance policy, you are not alone. According to Life Insurance Statistics and Facts, which is a report put out by the life insurance industry, about 43% of the population don't own a life insurance policy in any amount.
Wow. Buying life insurance doesn't have to be complicated. Legal and General America make it easy for you to protect your family's financial future.
As one of the nation's leaders in low-cost, high-quality life insurance to over 1.3 million families, they know how to protect you.
Legal and General America makes understanding and applying for life insurance easy. You can get a free quote by going to hisandhermoney.com/LGA. The links are also in the description box below.
All right, guys, listen, we are all about money and marriage, and those two things, sometimes they
collide,
go together real nice and neat. And sometimes we come into relationships with habits of our own, and some of those habits could be good.
True.
But some of those habits could be destructive, and we don't want you to fall prey to those.
That's right. We want to make sure, our His and Her Money family, that you all will not make some of these mistakes. And if you're currently making these mistakes, you will definitely turn that around, right?
So let's get into the first one. Number one money habit that you need to rid your life of so that it doesn't ruin your marriage is poor and secretive spending habits. That's right.
Gosh.
You got these habits, you're not good with money, and you're being secretive about it. That's a recipe for disaster.
So how does that look, How does that look?
Yeah, so how does that look? That means that you are reckless with your spending. Maybe you're an emotional spender. Maybe you spend without any preconceived notion of the future. And maybe that was okay in your single life. And maybe you brought that into your marriage. And if you keep it that way, you're only leaving room for the enemy to get in, because secrets are a no-no.
But what about those times where maybe you buy, maybe a pair of shoes and you keep it in your trunk?
Oh,
so maybe
now you're going down the street.
He won't notice, right? And then I get ready for church, or we're going out on a date night, and you're like, he doesn't even notice that these are new shoes. What about that?
Yeah, that's a no-no, because in marriage, the two are to become one. And if you have to go and spend money on the low, man, you are in the wrong position in your heart. And maybe there's a deeper conversation that you need to have with your significant other.
Now, we're not saying that, hey, every time I buy something, I have to run it by you. That's not what we're saying at all. But if your motive is meant to hide things from your spouse so he or she won't question it or realize that maybe you're busting the budget, then that's a problem. So what we highly suggest is that you kind of put a threshold on that. So basically, in our household, if we're spending something that's going to cost a lot of money, for an example, maybe it's $500. Maybe there's something I want to buy for $500. I'm not expecting him to say no, right? No. But I am respecting him and saying, hey, I want to purchase this thing, and I know that it's $500. Like recently, you purchased a watch that was probably about $300 something, right? Mm-hmm. And if you would have just went out and bought that watch, I probably would have been a little upset.
You would have had a little something to say.
Wait, $300 some dollars, and we didn't talk about it. Now, if it was $30, that's no big deal. Yeah. But you want to make sure that whatever, that dollar threshold is in your family, that you want to talk about it, because some of you all are trying to get out of debt.
Yes.
And if you're trying to get out of debt, and some of you guys are also trying to build wealth, maybe start business or invest in the stock market or real estate. And so you don't want to have certain money habits that's going to kind of take you off course. So it's important that you all have open conversation within your marriage in regards to how you spend money properly. Number 2 is singular domination. Oh my gosh, this used to be my biggest pet peeve, especially earlier on in our marriage. We've been married now for 14 years.
Yes,
Yay.
yes, and
But
yes.
in the beginning, I know that it was difficult to now say our, right? So when we got married, I inherited your debt. So this was no longer yours, but ours. I think it's so important that you watch what you say. It's we, right? Ours, not I do this. This is my money. This is my debt. No, it's now ours. And with that also means that also flows over into the finances, right? It's no longer his money, her money. I know that's her name, his, her money, but
an
it's
oxymoron.
and his and her money, right? And so we share everything, we really do. We look at this as a team. We look at this as partnership. And in the beginning of our marriage, I was the one, because I was the one that was better with money at the time. I was the one that kind of took care of the budget. And we realized that probably about 3 to 6 months after that, like, no, this is a bad idea. You need to have input as well too, because he started to feel like it was a mother-son relationship, right? Where I'm telling him, this is all we can spend. And he's like, wait, I know how much money I make. And I also started to feel kind of taken advantage of, maybe like not respecting in the sense of, man, I did not bring debt into this marriage, right? You brought the debt in this marriage, and I'm trying to help us figure out a plan, a positive plan. So get rid of the I's, get rid of the me's, and say we and our.
The next money habit that could ruin your marriage is operating without a budget.
Ooh.
This is important, guys, because if you don't have a plan for your money will just escape your grasp. And when money escapes your household and y'all looking at each other like, what happened? No, it was you. No, it was you. You get the finger pointing.
Oh my God.
And you get to argue.
If you didn't do,
Yeah.
then we would have, like.
Here comes the blame game.
Yes.
And here comes the contention. And here comes the fights. And here comes the trouble in your marriage. If you combine this point with the last point, where you come up with a plan collectively every single month, that's all a budget
Yeah.
is. It's a plan for how
That's right.
you all will spend your money. And it's important that both of you all do it together, come up with a plan. Therefore, when we get to the end of the month, when we're looking, we have a plan to refer
That's
to.
right.
We don't have to point at each other. We have a plan that is our guiding post for what went right
That's
and
right.
what went wrong with our money this month.
Speaking of a plan, do you have life insurance in place when it comes to, especially within a family? You may be married or even single, right? It does not matter. You need to definitely explore the options of putting a term life insurance in place. This is a time where we would like to thank this video sponsor, Legal & General America. Legal & General America, they offer term life insurance policies. They also go all the way up to 40-year term. You can get a free quote by going to hisandhermoney.com/LGA. The links will also be in the description box below. In marriage, especially, it was important to us, especially in the beginning when we were kind of like starting our family and really talking about our finances. Insurance was one of those things that was put up front, because, hey, nobody likes to talk about death. Nobody likes to talk about any event if something was to happen, but we need to plan. We need to prepare for that, right? And so we highly, highly recommend that you check out this video sponsor by going to hisandhermoney.com/LGA for more. Number 4 is internalizing financial frustrations. Now, we kind of touched on that in the beginning. When we first got married, oh my gosh, we had unspoken frustration. I knew that something was a little off. I felt like he wasn't really, I don't know, like there was
vibing.
And it started to really affect me. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. But we realized, hey, I think he needs to also have input. He also needs to look at the budget, needs to see exactly what we're doing. Just because I was the one that was better in money, that did not mean that you could not have say, right?
Yeah, and I think part of the problem was what we're saying. It was being internalized.
Oh my gosh,
we weren't expressing the frustration, and so the frustration was only growing. And so sometimes we come into relationships, or we're operating within the marriage for a few years with expectations of the other that we have not voiced. We're just making assumptions about how things should go. And when it's not going the way that we thought, we don't even still talk about it. We just keep it inside, and it causes problems, friction in our marriage.
And that's not just talking about budget. I mean, here it is, you guys. We run His and Her Money as a couple. And guess what? We've had to also encounter that in business. Maybe that'll be another video.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are probably building things with your spouse, and like you all have aspirations for these big goals and dreams, like, you cannot internalize your frustrations. It's important that you actually create an atmosphere where you can communicate properly.
The next money habit that could ruin your marriage is not valuing your partner's voice. It's important to know that you are a team. You have value in this relationship, and so does your spouse. Even if they start off not really strong in money, which was the case for us, that doesn't mean that they don't have value to the conversation. So it's important to make sure that you all are showing the proper amount of respect to the other person, because what you don't want to do is to have the other shut down because they don't feel valued.
I actually got very excited when you started to have more say within the finances, because it wasn't fun, honestly, for me to I felt like I was dragging the load, and it was not fun. So to see you take part in it, like, it was exciting to me. Like, I look forward to having, our nights where we discussed our finances, or we discussed the following month, and even sometimes our year goals and plans. Again, this is not just money, you all. The good thing about this video, you can actually apply this in other areas in your life. Like, we're parents as well too. So we talk about the kids, we talk about goals and different things that we kind of want to accomplish. So yeah, it's no fun doing it by yourself, especially within marriage.
And let's be real, some of you may have to undo some of this.
Yeah.
You might have a problem where you feel like, man, I can't get my partner on board. Part of that may be that your partner doesn't feel valued, and maybe they just have chose to bow out. So maybe it's going to be important for you to be very explicit in trying to get them on board by letting them know, I really value your input and I want us to win, and I can't do it without your voice.
Oh my gosh, you all, we can't stress this. Like, I hope that you all are really taking this video in, like, to see our lives from year 1 to now year 14, and see some of the things that God has allowed us to be able to do and accomplish. I know without a shadow of a doubt it's because we overcame these habits. You know what I mean? Some of these habits we didn't start in our marriage, but we knew, we were aware of traps.
Yes.
Right? So it's important, you all, man, the sky is the limit. Once you all are really on the same page in this area, you're going to see so many remarkable things happen within your marriage. Number 6 is not investing in quality time.
What? Is that financial?
Oh my gosh, that's so financial.
What?
Oh my, life gets busy. You start having kids, you start building businesses, you just start doing things. And it's so important that you actually stop and spend quality time together. I remember having conversations, especially with your mom. She's like, I think you all need to make sure you all date more. And she was correct. Like, most times when we asked her to keep the children, it was probably because we had to work. We had to do something like that. It was never because, we were going out per se. So then we realized, no, that's not good. We need to invest within our marriage. And you know what? We actually enjoy it.
Yeah. And it's important to do this because talking about money isn't easy. Talking about money can be emotional. And if you don't have that strong connection outside of the money conversations, it's going to make those money conversations even tougher. So invest in quality time so that when it's time to have these game-changing, generation-building conversations, you all get each other. You all have a bond that could withstand tough talks.
That's right. So the way this may look within money, you all set money aside every single month for these quality times. Sometimes it does not mean leaving the house, right? We know definitely with things happening and places are closed, depending on, the time of year. But you can also invest in that, do that at home, right? Spend quality time together at home, make it fun, like games and nice dinners and things like that. So it's important that you all schedule that within your budget, schedule that within your monthly or your weekly, daily conversation that you're having with each other. Hey, what do you want to do this month? What do you want to do? For some people, maybe you can't do it every 2 weeks, not even every week, maybe once a month, right? We start to say, hey, we would like to at least do something every quarter where we physically go away, whether that meant staycation here where we live, right? Just going downtown, maybe staying at a nice hotel, going to a nice restaurant. We wanted to make sure that we were pouring back within our marriage.
Yep. Now, Ty, this last one is going to get us in trouble.
Oh my gosh, I feel the heat coming.
They're finna be mad at his and her money.
That's okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. The last, but maybe the first one that you need to address. Money habit that could ruin your marriage is not combining finances.
That's right. Notice we said could, right? We get this question a lot. Should we combine finances? Again, you all, we don't believe in the his and the her, right? We still believe in putting identity within your marriage. So that meant for us creating monthly budget set amounts that, hey, you get to spend without asking any questions, and I get to spend without asking any questions. But we came together in the area of finances. Again, remember, it was no longer I, me, mine. It was ours, we, and ours.
We don't negotiate at the restaurant saying, "Are you paying?
You paying?
Or am I gonna pay?"
No, I paid last time.
No, we don't.
It's your time to pay.
We ain't know that.
That to me is absurd. No, it's ours. You know what I mean? If we're building wealth together, we need to be spending our money together. We need to be budgeting our money together.
And we always have to give this disclaimer. We understand that there are extreme circumstances where you may have a spouse that has an addictive
and they're
behavior
just reckless
that causes
or
finance. We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that. We're not even talking about the situations where maybe you see the writing on the wall. Maybe your marriage has definitely went through some troubling times We are saying use wisdom in that area, okay? But we're talking about, hey, if everything's all good, we setting goals,
regular
we
situations,
vibing, we rocking, exactly. In that scenario, and you all, we cannot stress the amount of people. We don't share this with you guys all the time, but we get emails, comments. Oh my gosh, I thought y'all were crazy when you all said that. And I really thought that my husband and I were doing really well. Like, we were knocking down debt, we were building wealth, but it wasn't until we literally came together and combined our finances that the sky was the limit. Like, their marriage went to another level because you know what? You build more trust. I can trust you, right? I can trust you a little bit more. I feel like, man, we're in this together. We're partners. So don't knock it unless you try it. Again, make sure that you incorporate some independency within that, such as having your own spending money and things like that. But you all, it's a game changer within marriage.
We wouldn't have accomplished the things that we have accomplished at the pace that we did. Getting out of consumer debt, becoming without a mortgage, paying that off, and now being a 100% debt-free family is the result of us coming together as one, as a unit, in the fight together. Again,
one of the things that I never could wrap my mind around is that we can make the conscious decision to parent children with this particular person, particular spouse, right? But I can't trust you necessarily with my money. Again, this is in scenarios where everything's all good.
So we can combine DNA.
Yeah.
But we can't combine money.
Like, my children are worth way much more than money. Right. Like, I could care less about the money. My children mean everything to me. And so it was important to me that I build, a life with you and that I saw good fatherhood qualities within you, right?
Yeah.
So my goodness, you all, have the conversations with your particular spouse. Again, this won't happen overnight. Maybe you're going to have a gradual, plan, but we will highly recommend that you all consider all of these habits that we mentioned to you and make sure that you don't let them ruin your marriage.
And a great way to get the conversation started is if you just watch this without your spouse, go back to the beginning of the video, go sit next to them and play the video and have a conversation together about what we just said.
And also make sure you click the link in the description box below to find all of the things that we mentioned in this video, including making sure that you get a term life insurance policy quote from Legal and General America, but we'll also make sure that we'll include our book, Money Talks, The Ultimate Couple's Guide to Communicating About Money. What I love about this book is it's not a long read, but each chapter gives questions that you can actually, after you read that chapter, you sit down with your spouse and you both conversate. I think it's so very important. So invest in your marriage and make sure that you get that today. Well, we want to hear from you. Leave us a comment in the comment section below. Let us know if you noticed any one of these habits that we mentioned that has started to definitely take a bad effect on your marriage, and which one you're going to definitely work on and make your marriage better. That's right, and make your marriage better. We want to hear from you. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Hit that share button. You guys, we can't thank you all enough. You all share our stuff, and it blesses us when we see it come across feeds and Facebook and Instagram. Like, you all, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Give this video a thumbs up if you like these videos.
We need you to hit that thumbs up.
Hit that thumbs up, y'all. This tells YouTube that, hey, this video is hot and that people want to learn more about this. And that also lets us know that you love learning more about money and marriage. We want to know. And also make sure you subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with any and all new videos.
That's all we got for this time, guys. It's been great. Until next time. Peace.
Bye, y'all.